Frith, hope all is well. This is a continuation of the Ehwaz video I did earlier. The focus on this one is going to be on the ritual meditation. Please refer back to the Ehwaz ritual, which I'll have a link at the top of this video, for the beginning process of the meditation ritual itself. The difference with this ritual though is that you're physically, tangibly touching some object or some, So like, for instance, when I was, during my runic initiation, when I was connecting with Ehwaz, I gathered some horsehair from the tail of a horse and braided it into this necklace and wore it whenever I was working with Ehwaz to help me to interact in a physical way with the energy I'm looking to connect with, right? And so now, so we have this physical, tangible object, and so then when we do the ritual meditation, starting with Ehwaz, but now instead of us focusing on extending our consciousness now, we're really just aiming our focus and our attention and our awareness on that object, whatever it is. So like when I was connecting with Uruz, I bought a fossil, third metacarpal of an ancient aurochs, So that was a way that I physically touched in with Uruz, or working with Thurs, as I've worked with different thorns, starting with the blackberry thorn and then working with hawthorn and a locust, and just working roses. Those are different thorns that I've connected with, and through that energetically experiencing Thurs as in different ways, right? Although all of those are literally thorns in the physical realm. So you have the object, whatever it is you're seeking, and so instead of extending out through the mind's eye, you're absolutely like internally absorbing your awareness into that object that you are physically, tangibly touching in with, right? And so then now, as you go through deeper layers of meditative absorption, just from the standpoint of just focusing on the object and refining that focus, and then moving into actually touching in with that which you're focusing on, that consciousness starts to meld, and in that process there's an energy exchange with this object, right? Whatever you're tangibly holding on to, and channeling your awareness and your focus and your consciousness into it, there's this moment of interaction. And so that's where you're working with the mind's eye, like there's that sense of direct interaction with this focal point. And now the focus is to absorb its energy, right? And through that process, there's literally a physical, tangible change that happens, but also, and more importantly, is that there's a mental shift, right? This externalized energy has interacted with your own, and it's created a shift. The energy has shifted in some way, and so some things like insights and those things can arise, but even more so, some of its energetic qualities is absorbed into you, and through that process, you can touch in with the runes in a more tangible way, right? But also just in, like, I'll give an example. When I was younger, traveling around the country, I was at a rainbow gathering and at a fire, and it was just like the energy was so messed up. And at that point, I really wasn't into like standing up and like telling people what I thought. But I felt the urge to do it, but I was afraid, right? And at that moment, I remember just grabbing onto a rock, and instantly I had strength and like stability and the sense of like presence, right? And that gave me the courage and the strength and the will to step up and say my piece. And then I walked out, and I was a wreck after that, shaking and stuff, but I could hear what was going around in the fire, and it shifted the energy, and like all of a sudden the drumming was in sync, and there was laughter, and people started to dance around the fire. And so it's just like, it's that sense of gaining its energy, its essence in a sense and absorbing it to accomplish your aim. So, and this all loops back into like when we're working with Ehwaz and focusing on like what it is that we really want in life, or clarity, or whatever it is that we're like truly aiming and focusing our awareness on. And then the Brahmana is just like about really setting up the matrix and the necessary things in order for this to manifest, right? And then we're now working with Ehwaz. It's about like, all right, those things that we have determined necessary, like now it is, Ehwaz is like getting on the horse and getting going, get moving. And one of the means towards shifting the energy and you know, growing as a person is to touch in with these different energies. You know, even just working with herbs as for medicine and energetically shifting our consciousness, even with mushrooms or herb or peyote or whatever you work with. Working with animal energies, right, and really working and touching in with, you know, their powers and their you know, amazing gifts that they give us as we interact with them. Yeah, so that's the focus of the Ehwaz ritual meditation, is really just about taking what you've learned in Ehwaz, you know, really getting the energy flowing even with Sohilo, working with Hagalaz to break up anything that's, you know, still distracting you or whatever it is. Ehwaz, like now you're focused fully on this thing, and Ehwaz is all about, you know, utilizing those energies towards what you want, right, or what you're needing, or, you know, whatever it is. So yeah, I wish you well. Till next video, be well and be blessed.
Odin, Thor, Freyr, Freya, Sif, Frigga.